Thank you all so much for listening. We literally do this all for you. Before we start, please do us a favor. Subscribe, comment, and please rate our podcast. It would mean the world to us. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like to hear about, write us at contact@theneoelite.com. That's contact@theneoelite.com. Hope you enjoy the show.
So I get up there and I'm about to pass out on the ground because now my body is about to shut down because my body is just like, we told you 6 months ago. We told you 3 months ago. We told you 2 weeks ago. We told you last night. We were trying to give you the out. So then I did it 2 years later. It was over. But I learned a lesson to never, ever, ever again not trust my instinct.
Hey everybody, I'm Zeplyn Tillman.
I'm Rebecca Franklin.
Welcome to the Soul and Success Podcast presented by Neo Elite, a show for millennials featuring top leaders, experts, tastemakers, influencers, and musicians bringing you the best content about how creating and maintaining a healthy soul leads to success. On today's show, we discuss finding your passion with Miss Wendi Cherry.
After more than 20 years of mixing her passion for entertainment, mentoring, and events, Wendi Cherry made the leap to birth her life's work and created the Goddess Awakening and Healing Sanctuary, LLC, a full-service holistic life coaching revolution, focusing on nutrition and a mission to provide a safe place where powerful Black and brown women who feel exhausted, stuck, and unfulfilled can unapologetically transform into their most authentic and healthy selves. Besides coaching, Wendi is the mom of a teen, world traveler, and lover of life, family, and friends. She shares her journey of self-discovery through love, spirit, DNA, and adoption at FromJerseyToMe.com.
Miss Wendi, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
So we started this podcast because as young adults, especially being of color, we realized mainstream conversations about success, conversations about our soul, not necessarily tied into religion, but just, the overall totality of it weren't necessarily happening in a manner that felt effective to our generation. So we decided to kind of have focused and pragmatic conversations, surrounding it. So we start each episode with either a quote or theme from either a book, movie, TV show that speaks to kind of the greater theme of the episode. Mm-hmm. So the first segment is called Mood, just because we allow it to kind of set the tone, the vibe, the energy of the conversation. Going to read a quote, we'll talk about how this feels, and then we'll allow that to segue into the greater conversation.
All right.
Perfect. So, Ava Duvernay, visionary filmmaker, first Black woman to win the Best Director award at the Sundance Film Festival, first Black woman to be nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Director, the first Black woman to have her film nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture, and the first Black woman to helm a live-action feature with a budget of over $100 million. In an interview series with CNN, Ava said, "Be passion-driven. There's no strategy to life, no strategy to career, even though many people say that there is. I think the best strategy is to be strategyless and focus on following our passion, and that becomes its own strategy." So even though Ava didn't pick up a camera directing until she was 33, she's now 45 and has had a pretty, amazing run this last half decade. And it's kind of saying don't overthink it, follow your passion and allow it to guide you. So how do you think about this? I mean, is she correct? Should we be, not necessarily thinking about a 5-year plan per se and just more so trusting our instincts and current passions to guide us?
I agree 100%. Yeah. We're born with certain gifts and things, and when we are allowed to tap into them, given the permission by our parents pretty much, because our parents raise us, they're the first influence we have. I'll take the entertainment industry for an example. I've worked with students who have a gift, and maybe they're musicians or maybe they're good singers or comics or something like that, and that's their passion, but they went to college. And so their parents said, you got to get this piece of paper. And then you should also consider B school or law school or something because you're not going to make it in this industry, okay? So I have seen many, many young people who struggled with that, wanting to follow their passion, but being afraid to. And those who went ahead and just did it anyway usually found the most success. And when I think of success, I don't always talk about dollars. Dollars are awesome. I'll take them anytime I can. I love money. Money allows us to do things that we want to do. But in their soul, they felt more fulfilled. I know people who went all the way through law school and do not use it because that's not really what they wanted to do. But it was the next step that seemed to make sense at the time, even though their gut was not telling them that. So I agree with her 100%.
I think something that you said is particularly interesting, the timing thing and knowing when instinctually you want to do something else. What do you think about if that's not particularly clear? I think for a lot of people our age, anybody's age really, when they know something, it might be eviscerating pain of knowing this is not right, but what is? And there's that unknown. How do you think the strategy of just being open allows for people to find out what it is that is right? Or if they know something is so right, they might be more willing to incorporate some things that can come into feeling right and are detrimental. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is what I think, and this might not be an answer that people say all the time, but we're born with our instincts. Yeah. Okay? And then after 2, we're taught mostly by our parents. And then when we go to school, we're taught not to use it, not to follow it. And then as we get a little bit older, it totally goes away from us and we don't even realize we have it unless we're in a fight or flight situation. Like maybe the kids at the bus stop going to stop and jump us at the bus stop and then we know we got to do something. Or you have some other like big thing like that. But otherwise, that slow, very low, constant little voice inside that tells us what to do, we don't listen to it. So take the squirrel that you're driving up the street and that squirrel, he starts running and he's like, whoa, and he does that double back. We have the ability to do those things. So a lot of it has to do with the distractions that we have allowed to kind of like infiltrate us now. If you're stressed out, your friends are stressing you out, your boyfriend's stressing you out, your girlfriend's stressing you out, you're in environments where you're not feeling peace, you will never be able to tap into the instinct because those things are distractions. You might say, I don't want to go to law school. My parents say I have to. It makes my stomach hurt. So I'm going to go eat this whole pizza because it's going to make me feel better. You're not sitting down and actually feeling I don't want to go to law school. What kind of plan can I come up with? Because I know I got to come to my parents with a plan. Like they're not going to just hear, I don't want to go to law school because my instinct told me not to. They're going to want to hear, I don't want to go, but I will do this, and this, and maybe they will be more understanding and supportive. Right. But instead of sitting there and going through that and listening to what it's telling you to do next, you go ahead and maybe go out and have a nice little cocktail to take the edge off, maybe do some other things to take the edge off,
like
including
vices.
Eating food to take the edge off. And then you have some unhealthy stuff in your body, and then you still haven't dealt with the issue. So it'll come back.
So the ability to get clear and get to your instincts, the inner voice, is what is keeping individuals from being able to really hear or tap into what their passions are.
That's 1, and 2 is trusting it. Like we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust that we know what's right for us. We have given our power to trust ourselves to, now your parents are there to protect you and do whatever until a certain time and then you're on your own, but we have given it to the media. We have given it to Instagram likes and Snapchat to make you feel better. We've given it to the doctors. We've given it to people in higher positions. That's who we've given our power to. We don't realize that we're born with it and that we can tap into our own, and ours will tell us what to do as long as we listen to it. But you can't listen if you don't know to listen. This is great because your audience may not know that they have an instinct and an intuition that will guide them. So now think about just being quiet. Like soon as you get up in the morning, here's a step. Soon as you get up in the morning, do not pick up your phone and look to see how many thumbs up you have or whatever it is that you look for. Don't look for your email. Take that 10 minutes and just sit quiet and just look around the room and actually just say thank you. Maybe say thank you 3 times and then just be quiet, breathe in, breathe out, and see what comes. So that's something that you can do to start to tap in every single day. don't check the email first. Don't pick up the phone first. You actually have, from the time your eyes open, when you become aware, you have 17 seconds to set the tone for your day. We are all energy, and we attract whatever we are. There are two ends of the axis. One is love and one is fear. Right. Love vibrates really high. So think about when you first met her or him and y'all were first talking on the phone, and every time you looked at the phone and you saw him or her calling, you got the little butterflies like, yeah, and you were like sice, right? Yeah. That feeling that you get in the belly, and you're like, and then when you're like, say you're about to go on like the first few dates, like when you're getting out the car and walking up to wherever they are, think of that feeling, hype, right? You get hyped. Right. Then also think about when you're like really afraid and how that feels in the body to be really, really, really afraid. So we're vibrating on either of those two every single moment, and we choose it. We have the choice to feel what we're going to feel. So you wake up, your eyes open, 17 seconds is what you have to choose. So now say the night before you had an argument with your boyfriend. You wake up in the morning, all momentum stops when you sleep. Your body heals when you sleep. The body heals from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. The body replenishes, it restores, it repairs. So you have to think about good things when you wake up, because then you'll attract good things, and you have 17 seconds to do it. Okay. So you get up, instead of thinking, you're choosing, I'm not going to think about him right now. I'm going to think about how grateful I am that I opened my eyes up. Yeah. So like the best prayer in the morning you can say is thank you, wow, and help. Thank you that I'm awake. Thank you to the Creator that you've given me another day, that I'm here. Wow is like, wow, I'm here. Like, how awesome is it that I'm here? And then help is like the prayer of, so now help me figure out what to do. Because you, along with the Creator, are co-creators. You still have the choice. So like in Christianity, they say you have free will. You still have free will. In other spiritual systems, they say that you make the choices that kind of figure out what your life will look like. So choice. I choose not to think about him right now. We'll get to him later. But for right now, thank you. I'm awake. Wow, how dope is this? I'm awake and I got like the best day going to happen. The sun is shining through my window. How beautiful is that? And then help me like, really, what should I be doing today? What? Help me, lead me, whatever you want. So those are the things. And then if you stay there for 17 seconds, you'll get more of gratitude, more wows, more of that kind of energy. Wow. And that'll set your day. But if you choose to think about him and the arguing that you did the night before, then now you tell me what you're going to attract.
I want to set the basis really quickly and get your opinion on this. What would you define as passion actually? Like, what is that? At the basic level even mean to you? Because this is the point of the conversation. We've kind of brought it up, but like, what is it? Is it a thing? Is it an energy? Is it
It's a feeling.
Okay.
Everything is a feeling.
Right.
Everything is energy. We as humans, we just have created things to be harder than they really need to be.
Okay.
If it feels good. Now, I'm not talking about detriment. I'm not talking about crack feels good, right. Addicted to crack. We're talking about high level energy, right? We're talking about if it feels good, then that's the direction you go in. It makes you smile. It's good for you. It has a good long-term impact, and it could help others or not, because, you came here to live your life. It's nice to help other people, but sometimes people focus on helping others and they don't do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. So that's called martyr.
Right.
You don't want to be a martyr to other people and then don't live your passion.
Absolutely.
But I think that if it feels good and it makes you smile, and then when you go to sleep at night, you really can't sleep because you're hyped thinking about it. Gotcha. And then when you wake up, you're thinking about it again. Yeah. And then all these ideas are coming on how you can flesh it out. Then that's the passion. And then you're not even thinking about the money piece. The money piece comes in later. But if you're thinking about it and you're feeling about it in that way, then that's the passion right there. And there could be multiple.
Yeah, that was what I was
It could be multiple and it can change.
And it can change over time.
Because everything is a cycle.
Got you.
There's life, you get the idea, and then you flesh it out, and then you're sitting here at this podcast because you talked about maybe we should have this conversation, and boom, now you're here.
Gotcha.
And then maybe in 2 years, you'll be doing something totally different.
Absolutely.
And it's okay.
Okay. That's fair. this next section is called What's Really Good. And it gives us a framework for, kind of a specific point of view related to the topic. So I think that especially for the millennial generation, this allure of money, status, fame, success can many times have us doing things that we think that we may be passionate about, but it's really just kind of feeding our ego. So we're not necessarily really in tune with it. And I know in my own personal life, I've done different endeavors or ventures just because I felt that, I wanted to do it, or it had a level of a status involved to it and that sort of thing. And then there winded up being something that wasn't right about it, or the individuals who I was working with, I was being fragmented by trying to make other people whole in the situation. And so how do you know when you're actually operating in your passion versus being enamored by something and allowing, like I said, your status, ego, or position to keep you operating in something that you shouldn't be?
I think that's called just communicating with yourself. We don't take the time to sit down and just ask ourselves any questions. We don't take the time to sit down and just think about the things that you just said. And you really know what feels good and what doesn't. And then if you don't know, and then if you're thinking about doing something, you do think about what your mom's going to say, right, or even your grandma. Like, should I be doing this? Is this really what it is? But the ego, I'm a Scorpio. So the ego is really one of the things that get us, so right. I have to be real careful because it has tripped me up over the years. Okay.
Absolutely.
I think that really just getting in tune with what your intention is. Intention is pretty much everything.
Gotcha.
Why am I doing this? What's the goal? What do I want to get out of it? So that's really all intention is. What's the purpose? What's the point? Who can it serve? Am I serving myself or am I serving others? Is the money worth it? Is it just for money? But also, you're learning. We're all learning. When we stop learning, we're dead. Sometimes you do those things to figure it out, and then you say, I shouldn't have done that, and I won't do it again. So that's okay too. I mean, if you instinctually know, I should not be doing this, then you don't do it. So this happened to me. I'm going to tell you a personal story. So I got married and didn't want to. I was turning 30. And everybody was like, you should get married. Right. And I was in 5 weddings that year. So I was like, all my friends are getting married. Yeah. I should be getting married. Everybody says he's so cute. He's so smart. He got money. He got all his teeth. He got insurance. He's, whatever. And he did. And he does, whatever. But my gut was like, hell no. Wow. But I couldn't tell you why.
It's just what you felt.
It's just what my gut said.
Yeah.
So I did like Erykah Badu. I drank some more holy water.
Yeah.
I went to all the conferences. I tried to force myself to be in love. And I just wasn't. And then all my friends were like, well, then you're crazy because he's the bomb.
Right.
But I couldn't explain why. So I was like, all right, maybe I am crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Right. So the night before the wedding, I have all my cousins and my family, whoever, my peoples, my girls, they're spending the night with me in the room. And I was really like, yo, it was right here at the tip of my tongue. I'm about to hit 95 South. I do not want to do this. It was right here. And they all love me. Like, this is my sister and my cousins. Right. They love me. Right. They'd have been like, go. But I was too afraid up to this point. Right. And so I didn't say it. So now picture me walking up the aisle with my dad and I'm about to throw up. Cool. I mean, he's the bomb. Yeah. He just wasn't the bomb for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. And now he's remarried, has a beautiful family and whatever. But I was walking up that and my whole body was shaking and I was sweating and I was about to throw up and I had to smile. And I'm an event producer. So I did it as an event. It was like in my brain, I'm like, I'm at an event. So I get up there. And I'm about to pass out on the ground because now my body's about to shut down.
Right.
Because my body is just like, we told you 6 months ago. Yeah. We told you 3 months ago.
Right.
We told you 2 weeks ago. We told you last night.
Right. Yeah.
We were trying to give you the out.
Yeah.
So then I did it. 2 years later, it was over.
Right.
But I learned a lesson to never ever again not trust my instinct. That was my lesson. Hard ass lesson. Painful and expensive ass lesson. So when you hear people say, there's a runaway bride or a runaway somebody,
Right.
and people like, how can they do that? How dare them? They're whack, whatever. No, they chose themselves and they trusted themselves. Even though it was hard, I was like, my family already bought everything from Bed Bath & Beyond. They're going to be so upset with me. I can't do it. So that's like a personal hard lesson that I learned about not trusting myself.
I read a quote this week that said, learn to trust and follow your inner voice. It's not loud. It isn't repetitive. Learn to get in tune with it. It knows the way.
Pow.
Some of the huge takeaways that we've gotten so far, right? So the 17-second rule. So the first thing, as soon as you get up in the morning, give gratitude. Don't look at your phone. Trust yourself over the people around you. You can go to them, but still trust yourself. Learn how to drop from the head to the belly when kind of making decisions, and spend time with yourself. Ask yourself the right questions. Educate yourself. You didn't mention it, but, self-discipline as well sounds like that's a huge portion of it when you're kind of making that transitional shift to cut things out.
Yeah, maximizing the time.
Right.
I was a huge procrastinator. I have to say it that way because sometimes I still do. But just know that this is another little gem. Your word is your wand.
Okay.
So what you say you are, bloop, you have created it because you're a co-creator of your life. Yeah. So I used to be like, dang, I'm a bad procrastinator. I'm always procrastinating. I had to change it to I was a procrastinator, and then I just don't say it at all. And just manage my time. So now there's so many apps. I use like all different apps to like, if it's not on the calendar, it does not happen pretty much, so that's key. I would say as far as being online, and this is what I'm learning too, as I'm managing my business and managing all the things that I have to manage, including being a mom, is that I create 80% and then I lurk and like and do whatever else, the 20%. Now, I don't always get it right, because this is another little gem. It's progress, not perfection. So that takes some of the pressure off of yourself. Progress, not perfection. So I know instead of consuming everybody's stuff, I'm watching people's podcasts. No, watch this one though. Listen to this one. This one is the bomb. Listen to it and to all of them. But do it in the car when you're driving or something like that instead of taking away from you creating your dynasty. Like I'm creating a revolution and a dynasty and a legacy to pass to my grandchildren. That's what I'm creating now. And part of it is in information, part of it is in money, but the other part of it is in good health. Because the things that I'm learning, I'm passing to the people I love. And that's long term, because money is just energy. And if I feel good, then I'm vibrating high, and then that money is going to come.
Fantastic. We are going into our last section right now. The last one is It's a Vibe, right? So talk about the committee, yourself, but sometimes we use some external things to kind of get ourselves situated to really hone into whatever it is. Yeah. So the first question is, how do you get in tune with yourself? What methods are you using to really center, recharge, move forward?
That's a great question.
I have learned in the last year or two really intensely. I've been studying. So I studied a few different spiritual systems. Okay. And I was in one specific spiritual system for the majority of my life at my choosing, not because my family said anything about it. It was just that I chose. But as I've been evolving, because we're ever evolving if we allow ourselves to, as I was evolving, I felt like it didn't serve me anymore. And it was the spiritual system of my grandparents, not me, once I learned about it. Okay.
Is this synonymous with religion, by the way? Are these the same things?
This specific spiritual system, what I'm talking about is religion specifically.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yes.
So then I started studying some other religions and more indigenous. Because then I'm thinking, most of the people who are elevated in this specific religion don't look like me. And I'm the original person. My forefathers are the originators of the entire world. And so why am I worshiping people that don't look like me? That was just from myself. This is the question I asked myself. So then I started searching ones that look like me. So I actually went to Egypt, which is originally named Kemet, the land of the blacks. And I studied some of that spiritual system. And it was cool. And then I went and studied some of the Orishas in Cuba. And that's a Yoruba Nigerian system, West Africa. And then I have studied some other ways now, not a religion, but more of a spiritual way to connect, whether it be crystals or whether it be meditation, whether it be yoga. I've studied all those things too. And what I've come to for myself, I have decided not to pick anything specifically. I have decided to pick a little bit from each, what makes me feel good. What I'm really tapping into now is metaphysics. And it has pretty much changed my life and catapulted me to another level of understanding of myself and the world around me than anything has in many years.
Can you break down just like, because
energy.
That could sound scary for somebody.
It sounds scary.
Metaphysics, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm sure that in everything,
Universal
if you understand
principles,
it,
like what goes up must come down.
Right.
The law of reciprocity, you give and receive.
Right.
There's 12 of them. You could look them up. And so
Yeah.
what I like to do is I like to drop seeds, and then I like to have people look up things
Okay.
on their own, because I also don't like to proselytize anything.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be like saying you have to do that, you have to do this, because then that also kind of goes back to some spiritual religious systems where you're being told to do. I feel like you were born with the best computer. You were born with the original computer. Anytime you want to get information, your computer is your head. You take in things with your vision. You have your senses, but all your senses live in your head, right? So anytime you want to see something, what do? You use your eyes. You turn around and see. Anytime you want to hear something, you start to tune in with your ears. Anytime you want to smell something, you do it with your nose. Anytime you want to taste something, you do it with your mouth, right? This is the computer. And we have given our power to the laptop and to the iPhone, or, not calling out brands on purpose, but we have given it. This is the original. It gives us all the information that we need if we allow it to. So I have decided to not pick any one. I have decided to go with the original computer myself.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No, this is fantastic. Do you have any, you said so much, and I want to make sure that, if you could kind of sum up in a very tangible, easy way, kind of just plant a few seeds. People obviously still have to do the work. You got to do the research. But if you could plant a few seeds about someone saying, I'm in this job and doesn't necessarily feel right, but what am I supposed to be doing? Or, I'm in this relationship, I'm not passionate about it, whatever may have you, like, what are some steps to where it's like, all right, start to follow these things and you can kind of, get on that trajectory to really tapping into, yourself and finding your passion.
Okay. It's not hard. Get up in the morning. You have 17 seconds to choose what you want to do. Say thank you. Say wow. Say help me. So those three things are gratitude, and they're also asking for help, because we all need some guidance. And then just take the time. It's all about taking time. So maybe the time that you would have spent online doing things that have nothing to do with work. Okay? We all have to be online for work. But taking maybe a quarter of the time that you're doing play online, and take that time to sit with yourself and to really ask, what do I want? Is what I'm doing what I want to be doing? Is who I'm with who I want to be with? And then to be okay with what comes back. Because as soon as you ask, like, the Creator is waiting for you to ask these questions. We were all connected before. We have come here and now we're distracted. The Creator wants to say, run. Or the Creator says, I set it up perfectly for you. Don't you love it? It's the bomb, right? You love it, right? It's either of those things, but being okay with whatever that is. Because sometimes, your belly tells you, I got to get out of this relationship. But then you say, but he's so cute. But then on Thursdays, we just have a lot of fun on Thursdays. The other days might be a little rough. I can deal with it. But Thursdays is the day that I look forward to us being. Does that make sense? Like, think about what makes sense. No. And then action. Because you can get your committee to tell you things. Your own body can tell you things. But if you don't take action, it means nothing. Just learning how to trust yourself. And Think about you go in the gym to pump iron. It's a muscle that has to be worked. So a little bit at a time, progress, not perfection, and watching what you say. Your word is your wand. What you say is, pretty much. It might not be tomorrow, but what you say, you create, good or bad.
Would you say the same for people who are following what they're passionate about and those other factors of life are happening and they are causing the stress that can be a distraction to the passion?
Yeah.
Is that the same mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can be doing all of the things you love, but there might still be some areas. You really pretty much, you can consider maybe doing a whole spring cleaning. This is the perfect time. This is a good time to do spiritual, emotional, physical, mental, in your space spring cleaning. Get rid of clutter, go through the closets, get rid of stuff you haven't worn, stuff that's shabby, give, save, or throw in the trash. But do that emotionally with your people who are around you. And sometimes family members have to go, and that's okay. You know, so spring cleaning. So now's the time to do that. Go and evaluate work, play, family, yourself, what you're putting into your body, how much time you're spending online. So just researching those things to figure out what makes sense for you, and the feelings get the blessings. Whatever you feel, like if you want something, you can even picture yourself there in your mind, because the body and the mind doesn't know. It just feels it. So like, you know,
Visualizing.
You visualizing things, but that's still being in the head. I said drop down to the guts. How would it feel if you're there? So you say you want to do concerts around the world and tour around the world. Feel how it's going to feel in Bali when you're on the beach and the concert's tonight and you guys got to get ready for sound check. That detailed. And then just let it be what it's going to be. Because it might not be Bali, it might be Istanbul, but it'll still be bomb.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair. So before you head out, can you just tell us and tell the audience where people can find you, how they can connect with you and all of that good stuff?
Okay. So I have a few different places where I live out here in social. I have a blog, and the blog that talks about nutrition, health, energy, and manifestation of all beautiful things is at goddess-awaken.com. And then I have another blog that is about my journey of awakening. So I pretty much wanted to find out who I was. I was adopted when I was born, and then I always wanted to know who I was. I traced my DNA. It connected, of course, to Africa. I actually went and visited Africa. And then after being adopted, I actually reconnected with my biological family. Wow. So on that blog, you can go from jerseytome.com. So it's from, Jersey is Jerz, and then TO me.com. So I named it that because I'm from Jersey. And I'm trying to figure out who I am. And I was trying to figure out who I was. So I was just like, from Jersey to me. And it's ever evolving. I'm growing all the time. So I don't think I'll ever figure it out, but I'm on the journey to do it. And then on social, I am Awaken and Heal on social platforms.
So we like to close with everybody giving their definition of what soul is. So you can complete the sentence. Soul is?
Soul is a way that I connect myself with the most awesome, beautiful, peaceful, abundant, healthy part of myself. And that's how I was born. I was born that way, so I deserve to have that all the way out through my life. So that's what I feel like soul is.
Love it. Sounds good.